I have no doubt that the off season seems particularly long for these guys. They're stuck here in the bullpen and they just sort of stand here at the gate and dream of getting out on these green pastures with the cows. And while they won't be getting with the cows today, hopefully, I am planning to get them out of the bullpen and onto this little field. They're gonna have about 2 acres of grazing here, and for 3 bulls of their age, I think the youngest one is about 8 months old and the oldest one is about 15 months old. So they're not full grown yet and they're not eating as much as they will in about a year from now. But this should be plenty to satisfy them. They've still got a round bale in the bullpen there that they're gonna still have access to, because I'll leave that gate open so that they can get in there. But I suspect that they're gonna spend the majority of their time out here on the grass. So why have I not done this sooner? Well, honestly, it's because I just don't really trust this fence here. It's not that it's a bad fence, it's just that I don't know that it would stop a bull if he really decided he wanted to get through it. I think some of this barbed wire is loose, some of it is stretched out. You can tell they've been sticking their heads through right here by all the hair that's on the wire. So I was just worried that they would get out with the cows sooner than I wanted them to. Right now the cattle do have access to this pasture that's right on the other side of the fence, but I've got them locked up in the corral for now. I want to turn the boys out first and kind of let them get used to the perimeter and then put the cows over here so that when they do inevitably come running up here to the fence to see what's going on, they already know that there is a hot wire there. So yes, the plan is to put up a single strand hot wire inside of that fence, and hopefully the visual barrier of the existing fence plus the shock of the hot wire will be enough to keep those bulls back where they belong. And in order to do this, we're gonna test out an all new solar energizer from Gallagher called the S30 that is powered by a lithium battery. I'm lucky enough to be part of a group of people that are the first that get to test these S30 lithium boxes, and I thought what better way to test them than to put some bulls up against them. So let's get the hot wire set up, get the S30 set up, and see how it does. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. One of the cool features about this S30 Lithium is the T-post mount is upgraded from previous models, or at least from the models that I have. And the way that they've got this set up now, you could orient this box any way you want on a T-post. The T-post doesn't have to be facing a certain direction in order for your solar panel to be facing a certain direction. I can mount it that way, I can mount it that way, you get the point. For me, I want it facing towards the southern sky, which is that way, so we're gonna put it just like that. I've got the S30 all hooked up now, so I guess it's time for the moment of truth. Let's turn it on, put the tester on there, and see where we're at. Another thing about this solar charger that's different is they put the on-off knob on the back of the box instead of on the front by the solar panel like normal. The reason that they did that is because they discovered, after years and years of R&D, that putting the switch on the back actually makes it last longer because you're keeping all of those components out of the sun. And, in today's world where everything is throwaway, replaceable, the companies have a tendency to make things that don't last as long because they would rather sell you a new one. I thought that was really cool that they actually changed the design of this Energizer to make it last longer and be more reliable. Yeah, mid 7,000s, that's pretty hot. For comparison, my pasture divider wires are usually around 3,000 to 5,000 volts, and this is about 7,500 volts. So hopefully the bulls only touch it once and then they never want to touch it again. Speaking of the bulls, I think we can go ahead and open the gate and turn them loose. But before I do, I just kind of wanted to touch on a little side note here. And that is the drastic diet change that these guys are gonna see today. They've been eating hay. Rivet and the black bull have been eating hay for the last several months. The Bismarck bull calf has been on hay exclusively for maybe the last 1 month. And now they're gonna have access to all this green grass. Totally different diet than what their bodies are used to. And when you're making a drastic change in their diet like that, my strategy is to send them out into the new field with full bellies. They've been eating on this round bale all morning, so I know that they're not hungry. And when they run out here, they are gonna dig into that grass, but they're gonna get full quicker because they've already been eating the round bale all morning. And that way it'll be kind of a more gentle transition from one diet to the next. Probably the worst thing that you can do would be to like withhold hay from them all morning, knowing that they would be going out into this pasture, and then send them out there while they're hungry with empty bellies. They would go out there, they would gorge on all of this new feed that their digestive systems may not be used to quite yet. And that, I think, is when you could possibly see some problems. These guys going out with a belly full of hay already, I don't think they've got enough room physically to eat enough to cause a problem. Just imagine how happy they're gonna be when they realize there's an open gate over here. Go on. Go on. You're gonna be so happy. Trust me on this. I gotta say, I'm surprised. I thought they would be a lot more interested in the cows, but this grass must taste awesome because they are all about it. In fact, I would say the cows are much more interested in them, and I'm wondering if that corral fence is gonna be sufficient. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and open the gate, let the cows back out into this pasture, so they will have a barbed wire fence plus the hot wire separating them, and I think we're gonna be fine because these guys don't seem too interested in trying to get in with them, at least not yet. Hope they see it. Rivet hit it. He didn't like that. Well, as soon as I turned my back, Rivet hit the hot wire and took off running the other direction. It definitely made an impression on him. You can see he's still not too happy about it. Well, poor Rivet. I don't think he's ever seen a hot wire before. These other two have. I haven't seen them hit it yet, but Rivet's hit it about 3 times. And every time he hits it, he runs all the way to the other side of the field, runs down to the manure pile and tries to fight with it. He just doesn't know what to make of it. But I think he'll learn soon enough if he hasn't already. You don't want to touch that wire. Well, things are starting to mellow out now. The bulls are pretty well decided that they're not going to get through that fence. And honestly, I give all the credit to that S30 Lithium Energizer. You saw how many times Rivet touched that wire, and if that hot wire wasn't there, I think he would have ended up probably sticking a head through the barbed wire, and then once he got a head through, it probably wouldn't be long before his entire body made it through. So that's what I love so much about hot wire, is it really makes these kinds of things possible. I don't think I would have felt comfortable putting the bulls out here with no hot wire. They would have had to stay in that bullpen. you know, up until breeding season, which is right around the corner, but still, I'm glad to be able to give them this in the meantime. When Rivet and Little Boy, the black bull with the #1 ear tag, go out for breeding season, that's gonna leave the Bismarck calf in here by himself. He's not big enough to go out and breed yet, and his mother is out in this herd, and we don't want him to start nursing again. So he's got to stay separated through the summer and honestly all the way up until next breeding season. So for another entire year, he needs to stay separated from the herd. I thought about taking him to the steer pasture. I mean, that would be a great way to isolate him, yet he'd still have some company, but I just wanted to keep him here. Just because I just feel safer and I feel better about having him here where I can keep a closer eye on him. But I don't want to have him in this little pasture by himself. So I think what the plan is gonna be is I'll leave this hot wire up in here, and when the two older bulls go out with the herd, I think I'm gonna bring Buddy in here, and then Buddy and the Bismarck calf can just have this pasture through the summer. They can be friends, and then he won't be feeling lonely. Buddy will be happy because he'll always have plenty to eat, and I think everybody wins. On a clean fence, meaning no weeds or anything touching the wire, the S30 Lithium is rated for 20 miles or 60 acres, which that's pretty impressive numbers. On an average fence where you might have like some weeds growing on the wire, kind of like I have, I've got stuff touching my wires all over the place. These are rated for 4 miles or 20 acres. Either way you slice it, I'm not using this box anywhere near its full potential for this application, but I have found that solar energizers, or really any energizer in general, it's kind of like a tow rig. You can't have too much power. I've got a lot of plans of different ways or different places that I can use this box, but the one that I think is gonna fit it the best is when I have to put a hot wire along the levee at the winter pasture when we're getting high water and I need to keep cattle off the levee. The reason why this box is gonna be a good fit for that is because during an application like that, we may go days or weeks without getting good sunlight, and that's one of the big benefits of the lithium battery, is that it's gonna keep its charge at full capacity a lot longer than a regular battery would. That's not really something I worry about in the summertime where we have day after day of just full sun. There's no trees down here or anything that's gonna block this box. But in the wintertime, when we might be getting storms or cloudy days or whatever it might be, this box I think is really gonna shine. The other big advantage to lithium is that that battery is gonna last a lot longer than a regular one. If you've run solar energizers, then you know every few years you got to replace those batteries. Well, these are supposed to last longer. Time will really tell on that. How long is it gonna last? I'm not exactly sure, but we're gonna find out. You guys got 2 acres of good grass, and this is where you've decided you want to eat, huh? Well, for now at least, the boys are staying put, and hopefully it stays that way. If you're interested in getting yourself an S30 Lithium, or anything from Gallagher for that matter, if you use the code FarmerTyler at checkout, it'll save you 10% on your order. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.